Welcome everyone to another episode of Trending Worldwide. I am your host, Scott Decaf Adams, and tonight we are going to give you another top countdown list. This is a little bit of a turn from the last two we've had. This is a more positive one, folks. This is our top 11 wrestlers who have survived, meaning they've had maybe injury issues, alcohol issues, drug issues, maybe just very personal things in their lives which other wrestlers have not survived through, but these guys have managed to work through. This list was compiled majority by a Trending Worldwide Contributor in JT Thomas. Right here, this is pretty much his script verbatim, folks. I have added one wrestler and two honorable mentions, but other than that, it's his list. So let's get started. If the music in the background wasn't a hint, our number 11 of the top 11 survived wrestlers is Taz. This is Taz's ECW theme music. Let's do a little bit different Taz theme music for the information. Of course, there's an advertisement here, so I'll just wait till this advertisement finishes. So, Taz, before suffering an eye injury that effectively ended his in-ring career after Hardcore Holly, who himself had overcome a broken neck attained via a Brock Lesnar botched powerbomb, smashed a candy jar into his face at WrestleMania 16. Prior to that injury, Taz suffered a broken neck at the hands of Dean Malenko and Too Cold Scorpio and a botched Spike pile driver. All of these injuries, of course, made Taz's in-ring career basically end. Taz found a new place and a new home as a commentator, as an announcer, and as a podcaster. Moving on to our number 10, folks, our number 10. Our number 10 is Sabu. Sabu, though he has suffered countless injuries in his career, the most notable being famous was suffering a broken neck at the hands of Chris Benoit via a badly botched toss in ECW. This is the incident that gave birth to the crippler persona adopted by Chris Benoit. And what you're hearing, of course, is Sabu's theme music. Number 9 on JT Thomas's list is Axe, specifically Axe of the Demolition. Axe had an allergic reaction to shellfish while him and his wife were dining in Japan. He reported to having an out-of-body experience and looking down at his dead body before being revived. I can say personally I've never heard of that before, so that's pretty unique. That really did happen, and he definitely deserves to be on this list. Moving on to our number 8, folks, our number 8. One of my most favorite, yet the most annoying theme songs I have ever heard is X-Pac. X-Pac nearly impaled himself on a partially exposed turnbuckle after a botched Bronco Buster spot in a match versus Jerry Lynn in an indie promotion. Add that to his struggle with drugs and alcohol, and the fact that he also admitted to attempting suicide while he was wrestling in Mexico, according to an interview on Chris Jericho's podcast. In the same interview, he now says he's clean and sober and would love to have one more run in the WWE if given the opportunity. Moving on to our number 7, folks, our number 7. Our number 7, I've chosen this theme music because it's one of my favorites of his, is Scott Hall. Scott Hall, who had a legitimate alcohol problem while he was in WCW, instead of getting help for him, they turned it into an angle, and Scott Hall struggled with alcohol for years to come, before turning to DDP Yoga. We'll learn a little bit more about DDP Yoga from our next entrant at number 6, folks. Number 6 is... I can't tell you how much I marked out when I heard this music played on Raw when he returned. For those of you who can't figure it out by the music, because some of them are louder, some of them are quieter, this is none other than Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake the Snake Roberts suffered years of alcohol and drug abuse left Jake Roberts in a state where he admittedly no longer wished to live. Diamond Dallas Page is credited by Roberts for saving his life, and his yoga program has possibly saved his body, and is also credited with saving, of course, Scott Hall. Number 5, folks. Number 5. Let's move on to our number 5, and now I need to find that theme music. Let's listen to this. No, I'm just kidding. We'll move on to number 5. So this theme music you probably won't recognize. I chose a theme music here that's a little less known so that it would be kind of a shock for those of you otherwise. This is none other than Kurt Angle's theme song. Now, Kurt Angle not only overcame a broken neck in the Olympics to win a gold medal in 1996, this led to alcohol and painkiller abuse throughout his career, which he overcame again, only to nearly be killed in TNA by a botched Swanton Bomb by Jeff Hardy at the No Surrender pay-per-view. And because we're talking about TNA, this is actually Kurt Angle's TNA theme song. Moving on to our next one, folks. Our next one is number 4. No, it's not an advertisement, folks. As good as the food in this advertisement looks, this food has never wrestled. We'll just have to wait till this advertisement finishes up. Okay, you all know who this is. Stone Cold Steve Austin temporarily was paralyzed by a botched leaping tombstone piledriver by Owen Hart at SummerSlam 1997. Austin finished the match with a weak roll-up on Hart and eventually did recover, as we all know. Of course, Austin also had drinking problems. Austin, from what we understand, went through a very public divorce with Deborah, and there was a lot of things said that could have dragged Austin's reputation through the mud. Moving on to our number 3, folks. Our number 3. Once again, I chose a version of this theme song that's a little bit more difficult to decipher, so it's not a dead giveaway. Our number 3, folks, is Ric Flair. Ric Flair survived a plane crash in 1975 and went on to arguably become the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Now, we also know that he had alcohol problems. I guess he had gambling problems. I don't remember what, but supposedly he needed money, so he started working again. He's been through the loss of his one son. Ric Flair has been through a lot and does deserve to be on this list. If this man can survive that much, he really is the greatest wrestler of all time, folks. Moving on to our number 2, folks. Our number 2. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was diagnosed with kidney cancer in 1998 while wrestling for WCW, and also survived a horrible gimmick where he became WCW's janitor and found and claimed the World TV title out of the trash. He beat his cancer and wrestled in TNA and WWE and is currently under contract with WWE. There's also some rumors about what happened with him and Iron Sheik, but of course we all know Hacksaw Jim Duggan as the ultimate patriot. Oh! Now, before we get to our number 1, I do have some honorable mentions that I would like to add, and here they are, folks. You all can figure this out. This is Matt Hardy's WWE theme. Matt Hardy went through a lot in his life. Matt Hardy was always that Hardy brother that wasn't as interesting as Jeff. Matt Hardy, as far as we know, had his real-life relationship and breakup with Lita brought into storyline. Supposedly, Matt was released from WWE because of that. Matt also had alcohol problems and I assume painkiller problems. He posted videos about his addiction and himself going to rehab. Right now, Matt Hardy is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So he's really come a very long way. He's a father, his wife is in TNA, and his little baby's actually been in TNA too. So it's really quite a step for him, and I do think he deserves an honorable mention here. Moving on to our next entrant. Our next entrant is not an advertisement, folks. I apologize about that. Our next entrant is Jeff Hardy. He's, again, a honorable mention, of course, the brother of Matt. Jeff himself has had numerous legal issues, drug issues, alcohol issues. He's actually served jail time. He's had numerous broken bones. He's been known for, outside of wrestling, doing things that put his body in danger and take him out of the business. And once again, he has been a world champion in multiple companies. He just re-signed with TNA, and he's really doing well for himself. And everybody should really be proud of where he is. Whether you like him or hate him, he's stayed in wrestling, he's stayed current, and he's done everything he needs to do to be successful in the business. And now, after our honorable mentions, we get to our number one. This is the only person that I added. This is our number one person who came back from some sort of a life-threatening issue in their life. Jerry the King Lawler suffered a heart attack on air. Reports claim that the doctor gave him CPR for 20 minutes. Now, as you see, he's already commentating again. Of course, this was years ago. He's actually wrestling to this day. He's been cleared by doctors to wrestle. And he does wrestle on the independent federations as well as smaller companies. I don't believe that he has wrestled again for WWE, but those of us that are wrestling fans, I remember watching and seeing him slumped over the announce table, and I didn't know what was going on. It was probably one of the scariest nights in wrestling, and I was overjoyed to see him come back, because apparently this heart condition has taken other men in his family at a very young age. We should all be blessed, happy, whatever word you want to use, that we still have Jerry the King Lawler, one of the most influential wrestlers and wrestling personalities in professional wrestling today. The plethora of his history and what he's done for the business cannot be matched. Ladies and gentlemen, our number one, Jerry the King Lawler. Folks, once again, the vast majority of this script right here has been written by JT Thomas, who is a contributor for Trending Worldwide. We would like to thank him for his contribution. JT Thomas will also be writing handwritten excerpts and top lists that will be posted on our Facebook page. So if you haven't yet, give our Facebook page a look. I will put the link down below. This has been another episode of Trending Worldwide. If you guys like what you see, make sure you click the like button below, comment below, and make sure you subscribe. I'll put a handy-dandy, cute subscribe button either over here by the TV somewhere. This is hard to do backwards. Or right over here above my head. So either it'll be somewhere on this screen. This has been another episode of Trending Worldwide.